That was really good, and maybe one of these days we'll have them simultaneously.
What if the stars you admired most, the ones who made you laugh, cry, and believe in Hollywood's magic, revealed a much darker side the moment the camera stopped rolling? For 30 years, Johnny Carson sat at the center of late-night television, welcoming legends of film and music onto The Tonight Show. But behind the curtain, he saw tempers flare, egos explode, and secrets so disturbing he quietly banned certain stars forever. This is the story of the moments you were never meant to see, Carson's beginnings. Before Johnny Carson became the king of late night, he was just a boy in Nebraska, living through the Great Depression. Money was scarce, hope even scarcer. But one day, he found a book of magic tricks, and something clicked. At just 12 years old, he ordered a magic kit through the mail, practicing endlessly, begging his family, pick a card, any card. His mother sewed him a magician's cape, and soon he was performing in church basements and county fairs for $3 a show. By his teenage years, Johnny wasn't just practicing magic, he was practicing how to command a room. That skill would carry him to radio, then television, and eventually the most coveted desk in show business. When Johnny Carson took over The Tonight Show in 1962, he transformed late-night TV into a nightly ritual for millions. His monologues, clever skits, and easy banter made America feel like they were part of an inside joke. But as the audience laughed at home, Carson was witnessing a different kind of performance when the cameras switched off. Take Joan Crawford. To moviegoers, she was the glamorous flapper, the Oscar-winning star of Mildred Pierce. On Carson's stage, she was elegant, poised, the very image of Hollywood royalty. But as soon as the interview ended, Carson saw her unleash a fury no one expected. She berated staff members over tiny mistakes, demanded firings on the spot, and left crew members shaken. To Carson, it was proof that even legends could wear masks that cracked as soon as the spotlight dimmed. Frank Sinatra, too, had two faces. On screen and on vinyl, he was the man with the golden voice, smooth, magnetic, untouchable. But Carson saw the temper beneath the tuxedo. One night in the 1970s, a Korean War veteran working backstage told Sinatra he had 3 minutes before going on. Sinatra's response? He grabbed the man by the tie, pulled inches from his face, and growled that no one told him what to do. Carson, furious, nearly stopped the show altogether. And when Sinatra insulted a female staff member moments later, Carson had enough. Looking him in the eye, he said coldly, "We don't talk about my staff that way here." Sinatra was stunned. Few had ever dared to stand up to him. Then came Jerry Lewis. To audiences, he was the goofy clown, the slapstick genius. But behind the scenes, he was volatile. His family described him as cruel, explosive, addicted to pills, and unfaithful. Even his famous telethons for muscular dystrophy became controversial, with disability advocates accusing him of humiliating the very children he was trying to help. On The Tonight Show, producers braced themselves every time Lewis appeared, never sure if his energy would turn into comedy or chaos. Bette Davis was another legend who tested Carson's patience. Brilliant, sharp-tongued, and endlessly entertaining, she also carried a reputation for fiery outbursts. Her decades-long feud with Joan Crawford was Hollywood legend, and on Carson's stage, she didn't hide her bitterness. In one 1988 appearance, she famously declared she wouldn't work with Faye Dunaway for $1 million, calling her unprofessional. Carson, master of keeping shows on track, had to balance the audience's laughter with the storm Bette carried with her everywhere. And then there was Bob Hope, once America's comic darling and a fixture at the Oscars. By the 1980s, he was harder to work with. He ignored schedules, dragged out film clips, and used Carson's show little more than a promotional platform. The man who once embodied live television was now relying on laugh tracks and stale routines. Behind the scenes, Carson grew frustrated, complaining that Hope no longer respected the craft of live performance. Eventually, even he was quietly phased out. For Johnny Carson, The Tonight Show wasn't just a comedy stage, it was a window into the truth of Hollywood. Behind the glamour, he saw arrogance, cruelty, heartbreak, and decline. And while millions at home laughed through their evenings, Carson quietly made decisions that shaped which stars would remain welcome and which would never return. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Hollywood's hidden past, don't forget to subscribe to Hollywood Star News. More untold stories are on the way.